Hello, everyone. It's another beautiful Wednesday afternoon, and it's time for another fun class here with Michael Stores. And in behalf of Faber-Castell USA, my name is Leigh Bella Ralston, also known as Mommy Leigh, and I will be your teacher or instructor for today's class. Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today? I hope that you're all doing well. I love Wednesdays, and I hope you do too. So we are back with another class. This time we're going to do some lettering. And I know that this is something that I am passionate about. And when you being here today tells me a whole lot because it means that you may be practicing hand lettering already, or you're just new to it and just slowly getting to hand lettering. Maybe you have been doing it. Maybe you've just seen it. Maybe you like the picture that I posted and said, you know what? I want to watch that class. But whatever is the reason, whatever is your reason for being here, I want to thank you, of course, for being here with me and giving me company and giving me the opportunity to teach you some of my favorite tips and tricks when it comes to lettering. And I am not to sugarcoat you that lettering is easy, because it definitely is not, but it is not extremely hard either. But I think with anything, not just with art, whether it's music or whether it's life, it's the constant practice, and that continuously doing it over and over again and allowing yourself to make mistakes so that you'll be able to learn, right? So I'm going to go look at the chat to see who's joining me today. Anastasia's here. Hello. Hi, Mary. Hi, Natalie. Hello from Detroit. Hi, Patricia. Hello. Hi from Texas. Howdy, y'all. I am now broadcasting live from Texas as well. So I'm super excited for today's class. Let's talk a little bit about the supplies that we're going to use. Of course, I'll be using some Faber-Castell USA supplies today. I'll start with the Faber-Castell. You're going to need some water because we'll be doing a lot of blending. So we'll be working with the Faber-Castell Albrecht Durer watercolor markers. So every time we're working with a watercolor, a water-based medium that you're going to be using water, then we're going to need some mixed media or some watercolor paper because we'll be doing a lot of blending. I'm using a Strathmore. I think this is a 500 series, their artist pad. You don't have to go that extra. You can just try the 300, especially if you're just a beginner, because it can get expensive, buying papers for practice and all that. So if you're not doing this for professionally and not selling it, or, it's something that you're just doing for a hobby, I think try something that's like a 300 series of Strathmore. Also, Canson is good. And also Artist Loft of Michaels, they have some great papers as well. We're going to need some pencils, erasers, Faber-Castell Albrecht Durer watercolor markers, and then also we'll be using some Pitt artist pens today. And I'll show you why we need the Pitt artist, but we're going to be using the watercolor markers to do that beautiful blending. All right, so I'm going to head over to the overhead camera and we're going to get this class started. All right, so here we have it. I have the markers in here. I have the colors Beige Red 132. I have Cadmium Yellow. I have Middle Purple Pink 125 and the Cobalt Green 156. And then I'll be using the Pitt artist pens in Light Indigo 220. And I don't think I included this on the list. This is a Cold Gray 1230 because I might add some drop shadows. So that's a really good color to use for your drop shadows. All right. It's okay if you don't have the color and you just have the pencils. If you just want to learn how to do the composition that we're going to do today, that's perfectly fine. If you're not creating along with me today, that's also okay, so something to watch. I'm so glad that you're here. Either way, I'm super happy that you're here today. Shirley, hi, Southern Oregon. Oh, how's the weather there? Are you guys it's not super hot anymore? Don't ask about the Texas weather because it's extremely hot and humid here today. We have Pasadena, California. Ah, Carrie, it's perfect. Perfect there. Uh, Anastasia is in Canada. We have some friends from Colorado and friends. Monica's from Oklahoma. Hello there. Hi, Kelly from California, too. And Ivy from Alabama. All right. Like what I said earlier, we're going to use some pencils, but I want to show you real quick. If you printed out our handout for today's class, this is the first page of the handout. If you want to trace this, you can use a tracing paper on top of it, right? Of course. But if you want to use a watercolor paper, because we'll be doing some blending, and you don't have the graphite transfer, what you can do is use your graphite pencil. I'm just going to use a regular HB pencil. This one's much bigger. This is from Faber-Castell as well. This is their jumbo. And you can just do this. Transfer that graphite over there. And then, but I am going to show you how to do this from the beginning without doing this tracing. But if you want to cheat, it's okay. I'm giving you permission to do so. So once you do that all over here on the back, of course, then all you're going to do is apply some pressure, and then you're going to transfer all of these, right? I'm going to zoom in so we can see. So that's what you're going to get. So it's kind of like you have that tracing as well. So if that's what you want to do, I'm okay with that as well. Okay, so, but since we're going to learn from the beginning, is we're going to do our step-by-step instructions. I have my pencil in here. You can choose to use a mechanical pencil. It really doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't have to be an expensive pencil, just a regular pencil. Though I love using this jumbo because the more I create, the more I draw and illustrate, you know, my hand starts to cramp a lot from working all day. And so the bigger pencils help a lot with the grip. And this one as well, this is from Faber-Castell. This is called the Grip Plus. It really, really does help me, you know, when I'm sketching a whole lot and when I have a lot of work to do. So, all right. Is everybody ready? You have your paper, pencils. Oh, we didn't talk about the water brush or brushes. So for this class, I mentioned that we're going to do a lot of blending. And so that's why we needed this water. I have some round brushes in here. This is number 2. So it's the same one. This is from Princeton. These are from other brands, but I really highly recommend if you're going to use a water brush, take out the water from the water brush because we don't want too much water in this because we're going to do everything slow because it requires that patience to do that blending. If you have the water in your water brush, you might end up with a pool of water and you'll end up frustrated, I promise you. So just take out the water from the barrel if you have the water brush, and then you have more control of the water by just dipping it in a bowl. All right. Okay, I'm just going to set this one aside for now. So when I'm doing any type of composition, I really start with a pencil because I always share this with you guys. Pencil is my best friend because you can't erase. And it also means that I'm not married or stuck to one idea. So I can just write this one exactly as this, the way I did it. Or I can create another idea as well. If I have a pencil, I can create anything because this is where the magic happens. But when I'm trying to compose a quote, and it can get difficult at times because it depends on how long your quote is and also how big your area is to write. But what I do is I get a copy or piece of copy paper, just a regular one, and I try to write the word first. And this is the way I would do things is I want to see it. So I want to count how many words I have. For example, everything will be okay. Usually the word everything is one word, but the way I did it, because it's limited and it's art, because when you're doing art, really, be careful online on the internet. People are going to say, you're not supposed to spell it that way. You forgot a comma. People will always have something to say. But to me, it is important that you allow yourself to just be creative and really let go of whatever expectation you may have or what others, expectation of others. Just be kind to yourself, and whatever feels right, I say go for that. All right, let's go back to composition. So everything will be okay. I want to write it down. Everything, right? Really, really light. If you're using your pencil. And I'm going to go zoom in, and then I'm going to do this in a manual focus so that we can really see much better, so that our eyes won't hurt us with it trying to focus. Here we go. So everything will be, I'm just writing it normally. Okay. And you might not see it still because it's really light. The way I've written it is really light, the way I sketched it. So I want you to write your words. If you don't like this quote, you can use another quote, and that's okay too. So now I see it. Everything will be okay. I have this really long word, everything, right? And then I have two words after that, will and be, and then the word okay. So now I'm going to try and do this in a script way. So when you're doing brush lettering, the reason why it can get really tricky is because when we're doing brush lettering, the brush pen itself is a beautiful tool, but it can get rather frustrating because the tip is flexible and you're going to have to really get used to the amount of pressure that you're going to apply when using your brush pen. Because in brush lettering, there's two important things that you have to remember. When you are writing, you see the thin and the thick lines over here. The way that you're going to create the thick lines is by applying pressure when you're writing. And when would you know how to apply the pressure or when to apply the pressure, right? So every time that you would write towards you, which means every time that your motion is going towards your body, this is when you're going to apply pressure to create a thick stroke. So there's two strokes. There's that down stroke, which is every time you would write towards you, or an upstroke, which is the opposite, is every time that you would write away from your body, all right? So this is when you would apply very thin stroke, apply very light pressure to create very thin stroke. I know. So when I first started trying to learn how to do this brush lettering, I promise you, I repeated in my head, thin going up, thick going down, light going up, and heavy going down, because it is something that I don't know how to do yet. So I have to repeatedly just repeat it over and over and over and over until I built that muscle memory. So the more I did my practice strokes, and then I learned, oh, okay, I can do this, right? So going down or writing towards me, I will apply a pressure and it will give me the thick stroke. And when I'm writing away from me, I would apply very light pressure to create thin stroke. So away from me, thin, apply the pressure and bend your marker, and then you're going to get that thick stroke. Did everybody got that? I know it's a lot of information. So I really highly suggest to check out some of our past classes for Michaels. It is available on their YouTube channel. So make sure to check out some of my brush lettering classes in there. Especially brush lettering 101 is that where I really explained thoroughly the thin and the thick strokes and all the practice strokes that you need to get yourself used to really master this art of brush lettering. But again, if that's something that frustrates you, you can always just thicken. I also have a class that's called Faux Calligraphy, is where we're faking it till we make it. So basically, I would write everything as E without worrying about my pressure. So I'm just going to write every here. But because I understand where the thick strokes will be, I would retrace the way I've written this. So this one, I know that I've written away from me. So this is the thin. This is, I wrote this one going down or towards me. So this is where it needs to be much thicker. So I would just kind of like retrace and add some width to my letters, right? This one going down towards me, so I know that this one will be thicker as well. So I'll just add some extra width in there. This one remains thin, right? So that's the faux calligraphy that you can practice if you're having a hard time with the brush lettering, because I understand it is slightly overwhelming. Okay, so everything will be okay. I know that I want to, this is what I'm going to use. So it's much smaller than this paper here. This one is a 6x9. So I know I will not be able to do the one word everything here, or else I'm going to go really take up this whole width in here. So I'm just going to break it because I'm an artist. So I'm going to break the rules and I'm going to write the word every and thing separately. Or I have that option, or I can write the word everything and I will make the two words, I'm going to show you, I'm going to make two words will and be much bigger, and the word okay definitely much bigger to really fill all this space. Or I can just write it this way where everything's going down. Because this is your art, I want you to really have the creative freedom to decide what you want to do. Don't let others tell you that this is just one way. There's no such thing as one way in art. There's a whole lot of way and there's your way. So whatever it is your way, I want you to do whatever it is that you want to do today. All right. So, but since I'm teaching you, this one is a shape. Look at this. So this is another tip for composition. It's like using shapes like this. If you want to fit everything in this upside down triangle, that's it. Or if you want to be fitting everything in a rectangle portrait, which is a vertical, then I'm going to write this everything. So write it in script, try to write it in script. And I know I want to fill everything. So the will and be will have to be much bigger, like that. And then I'm going to fill this area right here with an even bigger word because I only have 4-letter word okay. So that's one way. That's another way. Sorry about that. Or we can do what I did. Write the word every first. I'm going to try to write this in script. Every. Right? And then I'll put the word thing in here. Notice that I'm not doing any of the flourishes yet, right? I have extra flourish in here. Notice that when I'm doing it just as a beginning stage, I keep everything very simple so that I don't have to worry about where do I put that loop or anything, because we can add that later. Those are extras, right? So we'll write the word thing in here. You can just keep it as simple like this. Everything. And in the sample, I actually did the word will in a print. You can make it a circle. You can make a cloud. You can make a flower. Use some shape, some creative shapes. You can do it as a heart to fill the word in there. So use that shape and fill the word. So if the word will here, will, it's inside this cloud. I'm going to make it a cloud later. And then B. All right, the word okay. Remember, this is just the first step. Right. Everything will be okay. Now, pause a little bit and look at your work and say, what can I adjust? If you've been attending my classes, you know, we like to do this, right? We like to kind of like pause and really observe our art right now in this stage and say, okay, I feel like I have too much space in here, right? I want to fill this space. This doesn't look good to me. So this is where adding those flourishes will come in. And so adding this flourish here, fill this extra space on the side. And that's what I'm going to do. All right. So again, when you're sketching, think really light. So from down, I'm just going to extend this one and then connect it to the letter T. Okay. So everything. This time, I feel like I have extra space in here. So I want to adjust this one. This, really adjust my loop. Down. Like that. All right. I'm good with the letter B and the letter E. Maybe I can adjust this one and just add some extra loop on top. All right, that's good to me. Now I want to change my OK and make my letter O bigger, just like that. And then we want to fill in the two sides over here, right? And this step right here is going to be up to you. Do you want to add hearts? Do you want to add flower? What did you add here? Did you choose a heart? Did you choose a circle or an oval? Since I chose a cloud, I used some teardrops, actually like a raindrop, a teardrop shape, but everything is like sideways. And so I like to do things in three. So I have one, and then also I play around with size. So I'll make the middle part much bigger and this one smaller and facing down. This one is facing up. This one is just kind of slightly in the middle, but slightly facing down. And then this one is smaller, but definitely facing down. And then I will mirror this design on the other side. But I feel like, okay, I need to adjust my letter Y. Go back in here to that. And this one again. Again, we're just going to mirror and copy what we did here. So this one's slightly bigger, and it doesn't have to be perfect. The other side might be, you know, slightly smaller, slightly bigger. That's okay. And since I'm doing it on this paper, I'm just going to keep doing this on this paper. This is a watercolor paper also. So the next step is I'm going to adjust my clouds. So when you're drawing clouds, to make it just a little bit more interesting, play around with your semicircles that will fill your cloud shape, right? So some are like super small, some are wider and super stretched out, just like that. So we have the word will. And then my next step would be fix my lettering here. Everything will be okay. I still feel like, look at this. We have too much space. And it's not making me super excited. The word okay. What can I do? What can I do to fill in the space in here? Well, here's what we can do. Remember what we did with the letter T? We can definitely do this as well. So just write your letter, your straight down like this, and then copy what we did. It's kind of like a scoop going down, slowly going up, just like that, right? So it's like a slow scoop going up to the right. So that's what I'm going to do here. So a slow scoop, a small one, and then going up until I reach that. And then I bring it down. Right now, I feel like I can go down a little bit more here. So I'm going to just redo that, just go over that, and then make that loop slightly bigger. I'm okay with that. Okay, word A. And when I'm doing any type of creative lettering, hand lettering, I normally always break the norm. I am just naturally that way. I think ever since I was little, I would not write in straight lines. I would try not to color inside the lines, but um, I try to play with things creatively. And so I still do that up till this day when I'm doing my drawings and my letterings, I play around. And one thing that I like to play around would be position and sizes of my letters. So earlier, our letter A is here, right? And it was much bigger than this. So look at the difference of just making the A slightly smaller. And now I feel like my letter O is too big now for this whole thing. But okay. But this is why I really love using pencils, because I can go back and then move things around, change things around until I'm happy. And now that I'm happy with this, let's zoom out just a little bit. I'm super happy with that. Isn't that super pretty, Natalie? Because if you're going to do this straight with a brush pen, it's going to be super crazy hard, especially if you're going to think about your pressure going up, going down, that going down heavy, going up light. It's going to be hard to add those flourishes. So even with that, and I'm going to show you later when we try to do this with a brush pen, I often, unless I've been writing all day where my hands is really comfortable, my hand follows what my brain says, but most of the time it doesn't. And so I would fake it. I would add strokes where it needed to be. And so exactly. Yes, Mary. That's where I think it's super interesting and it becomes very unique, because you see all the letterings where they're all just in line, and then you try to write your own and then play around with the way you do your composition, play around with just positioning. One is slightly higher. I call this bounce lettering, and I am working on something exciting that I think you guys will love, but I can't say anything yet. But this is called bounce lettering. And so this is truly my style. If you've been following me on social media, this is something that I really love to do. It's just all over the place, up and down, up and down. One is smaller, one is slightly bigger, but I think that's what makes that art interesting and very unique, right? Okay, so right now that I have my sketch, I'm happy with this. I can use my kneadable eraser. This is from Faber-Castell. And I will just kind of like roll. Rolling. Don't make me sing. Rolling. All right. And why would you like to practice hand lettering. Why? Because it is fun. It is beautiful. You can create some beautiful art, gift it to friends, create your cards, make some personal wall art, scan it, make it a wallpaper. There's so many things that you can do with hand lettering. It's just absolutely fun. I mean, look at this page right here. So you have that beautiful brush lettering, add a frame, that's it. Put it on your wall and gift it to someone or use it as your personal. It's fun. All right. Okay. Oh gosh, why is 1 hour is not enough time? All right, for sure you won't be able to see anything now but it's still there. It's just very, very light, very light. All right, I am going to use the Pitt Artist Pen in light indigo 220. Now, I mentioned something earlier why this is important, because the Albrecht Durer are watercolor markers. They are watercolor pigments in a marker form. These are just fabulous products. I mean, they're on a pricey side, but it is absolutely a worth it investment to me. All right, so we're going to do a lot of blending, but if we're going to try and do this in a brush lettered way right away and do the blending, it's almost impossible. I mean, it's going to be hard. That's why my tip and my secret would be write it first with the Pitt Artist Pens, because the Pitt Artist Pens are water-based India ink. Now, India ink, they dry. Once they're dry, they're waterproof. So that means we can write on top of it with our watercolor markers, and this one is not moving. It's not going to go anywhere. So that this will be our guide. And that's why we're using a very, very light color, because we don't want to affect the color choices that we're going to use for today's art, right? So this is very light. It's almost, you might not be able to see it. The camera might not be able to pick it as well, but it's here. So what I'm going to do is I will show you what I actually do in real life, because it is hard, like what I said, to do that heavy pressure going down and light pressure going up. I am going to create a faux lettering. So I'm just going to trace over my sketch. Nothing fancy. I'm not going to worry about that pressure. So I'm just going to try and follow the sketch I did. So that's the word every. It's already been 30 minutes, guys. Time flies when you're having fun, right? And I can see your chat. So if you have any questions that I can answer for you, notice that I didn't do the loop first because it is hard. If I'm going to do all the way down like that, and I don't want to mess up anything. So I'll do that last, right? Everything there. And I'll do the letter B. And then the letter E, like that. Once we lay down our Pitt Artist pens, you won't be able to erase your pencil marks. So if you don't want them showing, you have to clean up as much as possible. But as long as you keep just enough guide, all right, so I can still see it. There's like a perfect shadow silhouette for me to follow. And again, I'm not going to do that big loop yet. I'm just going to do my lettering. Like that. Then now I'm going to do my loop. Okay, then I'll do my word will. Like that. I'll do my teardrop. Also, when you're trying to do your final line art, know that you can still change your mind right then and there. If you feel like, you know what, I think I made my teardrop a little too big, then you can adjust it. And, at least you have that first guide ready, which is the most important part. Right now is a part where I'm going to add some thick areas. So I'm going to add some width to our initial strokes because I understand where I must apply the thicker is when do we apply the heavy pressure? That's correct. When we're doing a downstroke or when we're writing towards us, that's where the thicker. And we apply the thin stroke when we go up or away from us. That is when we apply the light pressure. All right. Okay, up and down. All right, so now I can trace over this again and then apply that pressure that I needed. All right, I know here, can apply the thickness in here. All right. Going up, light. Going down, heavy. Going up, light. Going down, heavy. And notice that I'm not holding my pen like this. This is one of the most important first steps that you have to remember when you're doing any type of brush lettering. This is not how you're going to handle your pen or your brush pen. I don't care if you're holding it this way, as long as you don't go upside down. You go slightly 45-degree angle from the paper, like this, like that. And so you'll be able to use the tip of the pen for your upstroke, and then you'll still be able to apply pressure and use the body of that brush to create that thicker stroke. See? If we're holding this pen upside down straight, no, that's going to be impossible. It really is. Yes, Deja, we can definitely use any type of watercolor markers. You don't have to use markers if you have a watercolor, but you have the Pitt Artist pens, then you can definitely use your watercolor for this project. Kelly said the final letters will be black. Actually, no, when I created this is not the final. It's going to be, it was colored. I use this for a tracing, so you can trace your project, but this is just for your guide. So the final project will be in colored. It's going to be very pretty. And I'm going to try and my hardest to go really fast because I don't want to run out of time. See how hard that was? Even when I'm like tracing over it already, I was still having a hard time trying to make my stroke decent. Right, going up thin, light, going down heavy, thicker. I think in one of my classes, I always say, okay, one thing you're going to remember, sing the song. Going down for real. Then you know that you're going to apply some pressure because you're going down, apply pressure. Right. Because Valerie, what helps me a lot is having that guide. And I'm going to show you how we're going to blend because we're going to add the colors slowly. You can actually jump right in using your beige red if you'd like. You can totally skip this one part, but I really wanted to share and show you the step how you will make it easier. But if you've been doing some brush lettering for a long time and you want to go right ahead and skip to the lightest one that we're going to use, which is the beige red, that is definitely okay. This one, it's just going to help me so much by having all the letters in here already and then slowly adding my color one by one to have that beautiful blend. All right. I think I'm good with that. Okay, so now that I have this like that, I feel this is where I'm going to add the loop over here. Remember that scoop that we did here, like slide scoop? So we have this thing going up. Now, I always want to share this with everyone. You have to find what is most comfortable to you because we all write differently. If left to right feels more comfortable, please do so. If from right to, okay, I promise I know my left and right. So if the left to right is more comfortable or up to down, down to up, if left to right or down to up is more comfortable to you, that motion, please do so. Or if from right to left is more comfortable, and I'll show you that's up to down, please do that. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. You can do the loop from here to there, or you can also do the loop from down here to here. So whichever is most comfortable, do that. I do both just depending on how comfortable my hand and how, flexible and how, how much I've been writing that day. But I think normally to have a much better control, personally, I like doing this. If you're going to do this without you doing it in pencil, please skip it. Do it in pencil first and then trace over it. So it's much more controlled. Okay, but we're running out of time, so I'm not going to do that because I want to finish this project with you guys. All right, since we have everything in here now we can add colors. Like what I said, I have 4 colors in here. These 2 colors are going to complement one another. They're going to blend beautifully. And so if we do it from this to this to this, it's going to turn out super pretty. The colors are. So I want to start with the beige red. And I'm going to move, my second color would be the yellow. And then the third color would be the pink. And then the cobalt green. All right. And this is where having this Pitt artist is going to be really, really, really helpful. Because we're going to slowly add colors. And when I mean slowly, I mean really slowly. So we have that. I'm going to grab, if using the Faber-Castell, the Albrecht Durer, they have 2 tips. You have the bullet tip and then you have the brush. Whatever you're most comfortable at, if you want to use the bullet tip because you have better control, please do that. But notice that I'm going to leave some spaces in between my letters like that because we're going to blend the 2 colors later. I don't know why that's so weird. Hold on 1 second. Okay, here we go. So we have that yellow, and then I'll add my cobalt. And I'll try to move as fast as I can so I can finish it, okay? If you have any questions, we'll get back to that in a little bit, but and then I can come back again with that beige red, yellow, the cobalt green. Remember, we talked about the brush pen because we have a very delicate stroke. It's not thick. And so that's why we have to be careful with how much water we're going to use to blend these markers. Now, if you're using other markers, It might give you a little bit of trouble because some markers, once you apply them, might be a little difficult to move the pigments around. But with the Albert Durer markers, I can apply all of these and then come back to it hours later and blend them, and it will still move and blend so beautifully. With some of the watercolor markers, those are not watercolors because they are dye based. It makes it difficult. They are staining the paper, and then they also going to be a little, not a little, some of them might be a little difficult to blend, but with these ones, like what I said, we can leave it here and it's going to blend later, 3 hours again. But with that being said, that means that once water hits this artwork, that means that it's going to get ruined, right? So you can find some sealers. I am not an expert when it comes to sealers because I don't normally seal everything. If I'm doing any type of watercolor art, I use a Mod Podge. I mean, it's as simple as that. All right, so now we're going to start blending. And I'm going to start with a beige red. Okay. So I'm just dipping, picking up a little bit of water, and I'll just blend. Make sure to have a paper towel or maybe a baby wipes. And then I'll start blending the yellow as well. Like that. And I'll blend. I'm going to zoom in even more so you guys can really see. I'm sorry. There we go. So just pick up a little bit. If you're going to use a watercolors directly, it might get a little tricky because it's going to depend on how much color you're actually picking up. And that's why I love using markers as well, because I can really control how much pigment I'm using rather than picking up from a pan. I have heavy hands, so sometimes I tend to pick up more colors than what I really need. And just so you guys know, it's a struggle for me to talk and then do this because it's so relaxing. That's why I love lettering, is because when I'm doing it, I am like frozen in a zone. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm teaching. But every stroke, seeing the pigments move with the water, it's so relaxing to me. It brings me so much joy. And really, the key to the beautiful blending, the art that you see online, it takes patience, you know? And so when you see my videos on Instagram or whichever social media you're following me in, those videos, those reels, they take forever to create, but you have to make it fast and really just make it turn it into a minute. Sometimes I wish I worked that fast, but I really don't. I work slow and I really tend to just enjoy myself, get lost in that process, because that's the beauty of why we do art, because of that joy you feel inside. So I see young kids joining us today as well. So I'm super happy that you're here trying to learn and do something creative, because it is what's going to make your life so joyous. Now I'm older and I have little kids of my own, but they see me super happy when I'm creating, and they see that and they want to do the same thing. So we create together, we draw, we letter, you know, we create some handmade cards. and it's super fun. Just blending everything slowly. And in the second word, I'm actually going to show you another way that you guys can blend. Because it is important to understand that you are not stuck to this one way. And you say, you know what, Lay, that is just taking too much time to blend. Is there any other way that we can make this a little faster? And I'm going to say, yes, there is. All right. Now, but this one is going to require some artist palette. If you have any type of artist palette or some very sleek surface like this one, I have this glass heart. What we're going to do is I am going to apply the beige red everywhere, but you're going to see that the result is going to be slightly different, and that's why I'm teaching you, so that you can see what you're going to get by applying different results, but still using the same product. So I'm going to go here. And that's why I said, if you want to jump around, jump ahead and just do the beige red without doing the Pitt artist, is because of this way. And I think it's very important that you see that as well. So this time, that was our first color. I'm going to go ahead and start adding the cadmium yellow, the cobalt green, and then the middle purple pink. All right. So I'm just going to add it here. And I'm going to add some pink in here. Like that. And I'll add the cobalt in here. This one blue. Again, I'll add the yellow, the middle purple. And then I'll start blending. Why you want this sleek surface is because, for example, you know what? I feel like I want to add some middle purple pink in there too. So it's kind of like picking up colors directly from your pan. So you just apply it right there. You dip your brush in the water and you pick up the colors like that. And then start adding your colors just like that. But with it being a marker, I have much better control of how much pigments I'm picking up. Then I'm just going to clean my brush and start blending away. All right. And of course, we are out of time again. But you've learned two different ways to blend. Start adding in there. And before I say goodbye, I really, really want to teach you another way that you can use your watercolor markers to blend. Just one more. All right. With the middle purple pink being here, I can apply more middle purple pink in here, right? Like that. Just add there. Now I can get my light color. This is the cadmium yellow. And I'm going to pick up some of these colors, just like that. And it's okay, because if you're worried about your brush, it's okay. It's going to get clean in a little bit. And look at that. You created this beautiful orange because these are watercolor markers. And so it's going to blend like watercolors. And the beauty of this is that these are light fast, which means it's going to last for a very, very, very long time. But I want you to look at the 3 different types of blending that we created today. So this is the very slowly adding 4 colors. We added the beige red, little bit by little bit. And then we added the cadmium yellow, we added the cobalt green, and just then blended them slowly. The second one, we used the lightest color, our base, the beige red as our base color, and then added our colors. But look how different, because of our base here, which is the light indigo Pitt artist, it gave us this very light background. So that's our base. So you don't have the darkness of the beige red. You could probably just choose a light color blue, which will be the ultramarine. I don't have the light indigo in the Albrecht Durer, but maybe, as you can see, it looks different with that light blue as your base and this beige red as your base. And then we created this easy ombre by just picking up some colors. And guess what? You can now pick up these colors as well by using your water brush, just like that. You created this orange color and then start blending also. So you created blends. And this is why it's so important to kind of like understand the basic, why I always start my classes with the basic. And I love giving you guys options because I think that's the most important and the most funnest. Is that a word, funnest? But it's so fun to have all these options and knowing. And what do I always say? I always suggest that you guys play around with your supplies, whether it's just pencil, marker, watercolors, acrylics, alcohol markers. Play around with your supplies, use them, make lots of mistakes. Well, most of all, allow yourself to make those mistakes, because that's how you're going to learn without making those mistakes. Oh, I shouldn't have mixed that color with this color, or I shouldn't have used that medium on top of this medium, because by not making mistakes and you'll never grow, right? But okay, I'm going to go look at the chat. Thank you. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you, Janaya and Jaden. Thank you, Kelly. I hope that this class was hopeful. I had so much fun. I'm so glad that it's storming crazy outside. Sometimes the internet goes bad and sometimes we lose power, but I'm so glad that we made it. You've learned 3 blendings. If you have any questions whatsoever, please do follow me on social media and send me a message, say hi, or send me a photo of what you created today. Don't forget to show some love to Faber-Castell USA. Make sure to follow us online on social media. And of course, Michael's as well. If you created something with me today, I would love to see them. Like what I said, tag me on social media. You can also use the hashtag Make It With Michael's. But again, my name is Leigh Bella Ralston. I'm also known as Mommy Leigh, and that's my handle on social media. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Cher. Thank you, Jen. I hope to see you guys again for next class. Remember, we did the faux calligraphy. We're going to do that again. We'll learn a little bit more different types of composition, and we'll be using some metallic Faber-Castell Pitt artist pens. So it's going to be super fun. But I hope that this was helpful. Thank you all so much. As always, I like to end my classes by reminding you to stay happy and stay creative. Thanks, everyone. Bye.